White privilege! Alright, we're here. Welcome to chapter 8. It's chapter 8 of Memoirs of a White Guy. I'm in a good mood because it's a good day and I'm white, so I'm always in a pretty good mood. This is fun. Thank you very much, man. The podcast last week, to all the people who came across from Lewis's podcast, Spearhead Sundays, had my guest Lewis Spears on last week, and lots of people came across because we recorded 2 episodes, 1 episode for him and 1 episode for me. And a lot of people came across and listened to mine, which is really cool. So I hope you like my podcast as well. I've had a lot of good feedback during the week from people, so it's really cool that people went and checked it out. What's been happening with me this week? I've been focusing on videos a lot. I've had a week off stand up, which is good because the last podcast that I recorded by myself, I was hating it, I'm pretty sure, because I did way too many gigs in a row. I wasn't hating it, I was just over it. I think I wanted to, get back into doing the videos and stuff. But this week I've, been filming a fair bit. Done a couple of videos with Lewis. One's coming out tonight, I think, on our World Vegan Day. So people are going to get angry at that, which makes me laugh, so that's good. Because I like meat and bacon's the shit. So I was endorsing that video 100%. I dropped a couple of videos during the week. And I got a couple more coming out this week. So that's what I've been trying to do. Focus hard on videos. I also went to the races on Saturday. I went to Derby Day in Melbourne, which was cool. Because I've been to the races once, but it wasn't part of the spring carnival. I just went to a smaller race meet, which was good because there was no queues for anywhere. But yeah, it was the first time where all the people were there. It was packed. There was drunk people everywhere. Some guy dived into a bin. That was funny if you saw that on Facebook. There was celebrities there. I mean, you don't see this on TV. You must think, oh my God, there's just celebrities everywhere. But not if you're in the POV general admission bit. There's just drunk dudes, and I saw 8 people from high school who I didn't know were going to be there. It's just that. It's just oh, okay. This is just people under 30 who can't afford to get into the exclusive marquees. So, there's no famous people around. You have to actually be in the birdcage or the other marquees to see anyone famous. But, that was fun. It was a couple of weird things happened. Actually, this was weird. So, it's not really at all to do with the races. It's more just a good toilet story. So, guys, girls, I think girls know. Guys, they at big sporting events, we don't just have cubicles, we have urinals in the thing, which is a wall that you piss on. Everyone knows that. And to explain this story, I've got to explain the layout of the room. Right, so you walk into the toilet, and there's a big divider down the middle of the room, about 1.5 meters tall, with a urinal on either side of the divider. So when you stand up to piss on the grate, your head sticks over the top of the thing by about shoulder. So your shoulders are about up to the length. And you can look a dude opposite you who's pissing dead in the eye if you want to. So, but guys were trying to avoid that. So guys were going zigzagging along so they weren't going face to face because that's just weird. And girls might know this, but whenever you're pissing in public at a urinal, you just stare up. You look around the room, or you stare straight ahead at the wall. No one sits there and stares at their cock for 30 seconds. That's just weird. So I was just staring straight like a normal human, and I was just trying to avoid eye contact because that's what everyone does. And then this drunk bloke just goes, I just see this head go bang, pop up half a meter away from me. And he just has the biggest grin on his face, and he goes, hey mate, how have you been going on the stallions, brother? And I was like, okay, this is happening. I'll just look. I was about to finish up, so I'm like, this is not gonna be long. And I was like, oh yeah, not bad, man. And a couple of other guys having a chuckle because no one just starts speaking really to randoms. So he's like, hey, going on the stallions, brother? I was like, yep. And also, who says stallions in a sentence? They're not stallions. They're just horses. Anyway, so I was like, oh man, I'm about $50 down at this stage. Not too good. And I'm like, I just had a win though. And he's like, oh yeah, number 15. And I'm like, yeah, that horse just won the last race. He goes, mate, me too, brother. And then he I think he thought that because we had a bond over the same horse, we picked the same horse in the last race. He like smiled at me and was like, "Oh man, I like you, bro. I like you." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, maybe say that without your dick out." So that was the story that happened. I don't know why I told that on the podcast. Not that funny. It was just uncomfortable. What else happened at the races? I realized that I I have a problem. Okay, I can't control myself. It's an addiction. I don't know what it is. I only back horses with funny names because I just can't help myself. I think it's hilarious. Like if there's a horse with like tits in the name, I will just put $5 in it, and it will be paying the worst odds. It'll be like $80, and it won't win. It's like the biggest roughie of the race, and I'm like, yeah, but like Tits McGee, that's funny. And then I lost a lot of money on the weekend because I think it's funny and I can't control it. So, and like I got to race 6, and I was like, like $60 down. I'm like, come on, I wasn't putting on that much money, by the way. Like I was only putting on like $10, $15 a race because I'm not loaded because I'm a comedian. And but still, I just can't help myself because I think it's hilarious. So, and if you saw my Snapchat story as well, I was taking photos of the funny horse names which I was backing, and I think one of them came through. So, not a good ratio. And that's when I noticed there was a massive difference between how people like me bet on the races and how the proper punters bet on the races. Because the proper punters go to the tracks months before at 4 a.m. They sit there with their binoculars on and their coats, and they have a piece of paper and they write down how the horse is training. They do all this stuff, and then they go by the paper every morning. They read the results from all the country meets, and they go, oh, yep, circle that. Then they get there on the day. They've still got their binoculars, and they watch the race, like follow the race along from the other side of the track with their binoculars. So you're like, man, there's a big screen right in front of you that 100,000 other people are watching it on. Why is that not good enough for you? Also, the big screen, it's in HD. Your binoculars are probably shaking it up, but he's like, nah, these are my punter goggles. So they watch it, and then at the very end, they go, yeah, I won 100 grand. But I'm like, I get there on the day, and I look at the list of horses, and I'm like, Horsey McHorseface and Sensual Sally, I'm going to back that. And then they both lose. So that's the massive difference between me and, but I just don't think I could ever give a shit, really. I mean, I was just doing it for fun. And, so yeah, and also on the way home, on the train, again, if you followed me on Snapchat, which you can, Luke Kidgell, just no spaces. And, yeah, there was a bunch of and people always trash alcohol. They go, the youth, they get out there and they binge, and the media's all like, oh, these youth, they drink too much. Man, on the way home from Flemington back to the city, the trains were packed, obviously, like 150 people in a carriage, everyone standing. And there was a group of lads who were just absolutely carrying the carriage, and they did it incredibly. They obviously been sinking the piss since the AM. They were peaking well on their way, and they got 150 people of all different ages. There were 60-year-olds on the train. There were people like us, just young. There were 40-year-olds on the train. All age groups. These young group of guys just started singing Wonderwall by Oasis, and by about the second line, it literally it took that quick. The whole carriage was just belting out Wonderwall, and then everyone did All Star by Smash Mouth. They started taking requests, Bon Jovi, the lot, and the whole way, it was about a 25-minute train ride. The whole carriage was just singing along together. And I'm like, yeah, people bash alcohol, but there's sometimes like that when it just brings people together, because those boys were off their fucking face. And everyone was loving it. It was the best shit ever. I've never seen a more just randoms just having fun together at all. It was quite weird. It was good though. I mean, who doesn't like singing Smash Mouth half tanked on the way back from the city at 6 p.m. It was very good. What else has been happening? Oh, yes. The America. Let's talk about America, okay? Obviously, you would have seen it on Facebook. You would have seen it everywhere. That's all over the media. America has a very, very important decision coming up, obviously, that will affect many, many people's lives, and quite possibly in the wrong way. This decision will probably affect most of the entire free world. And that decision is, of course, between trick or treat. Because it's Halloween and I'm a comedian. Well done, Luke. Everyone thought I was talking about the American election. I don't give a shit about that. Halloween's way more fun to talk about. But yeah, in Australia, no one cares, obviously, because we have better shit to do, like buy alcohol before Melbourne Cup Day tomorrow. I don't know what people in other states do tomorrow. You probably just go to work. But man, Melbourne has a day off to watch horse racing and get pissed. So that's pretty much what Melburnians do on, the last... Or is it the first Tuesday? It depends when it falls. On this time of year, everyone just gets tanked. So what was I going to say? Oh yeah, Halloween. People are like, it's a massive decision because like, what do you do as a homeowner? Do you go, do you risk it? Like, do you risk getting egged and go trick? Because really, no one can be bothered doing a trick. I mean, like, maybe the magic trick or like a kick flip on a skateboard, but no one can be bothered egging your house, really. I mean, I couldn't be bothered. If someone just said, like, if I was like trick or treat, and then they were like trick, I'd just be like, go fuck yourself, you're cheap. And I'd leave. I wouldn't even bother to come back. Or maybe that's the trick, and then he just spends all night paranoid that I'm gonna come back. Yeah, that's what I'd do. If he's like trick or treat, I'd be like, oh mate, you're gonna regret that. And then he'd be like, oh shit. And then I'd just leave and never come back, and he'd be scared for the rest of his life because I've got a pretty intimidating glare. That was a joke. I'm a pretty harmless dude. But yeah, back in the day, I feel like it was like a real edgy thing to do to be like, yeah, trick, like bring it on, mate. But now I feel with the reinforced importance of nutrition, it's actually way edgier to say treat and give the kid a Snickers because, I mean, you're contributing to childhood diabetes. So really, that's the problem. You should be saying trick and encouraging the little fatties to run back to your house and throw an egg at you. Because really, that's helping the world. So, and also, if you're selecting treat instead of trick, you're demoting trickery, which is, I'm against, because I think, I mean, as a young aspiring magician back in the day, anyone who what am I talking about? Why do people listen to this podcast? I was about to go on a rant just then about why people are oppressing young magicians. Oh my god, this podcast sucks. I shouldn't say that because now people are going to realize it. What else have been going on this week? I've been actually kind of really busy. Like I finally settled on a title for my Melbourne Comedy Festival show and the show that I'll be taking around Australia next year, which is cool. So I've settled on a title for that. I'm not going to say the title yet, but I'm pretty happy with it. I did have another title that I was set on for about a few months, but then I just kind of hated it, which I will probably hate this title that I now have to decide on, because the registration's closed in like 3 weeks, so I'm currently trying to, I've been talking to venues all week, which turns out to be an excruciating experience. Me and an artist have been working on the artwork for the show. That's going to really start happening this week. So it's pretty exciting, but it's also a lot of work. So if there's no videos and stuff, that's probably what I'll be doing. I never thought that devoting my life to comedy would mean I'd be busy, ever, which sucks. And I'm really starting to realize that now in the last few months. I don't sleep. I always forget to eat and shit, because I'm just like, oh, but this dick joke needs to be written now. And I just forget to eat. So, but yeah, I've been trying to organize a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Still been trying to smash out the videos and stuff, which is cool. And yeah, lots of big things to come, hopefully. Alright, cool. So there's one more thing I want to discuss before I answer your questions. So it's obviously first world problem related. By the way, if you ever need a first world problem you never ever need to listen to one or read one, there's 2 places you go for a first world problem. Number 1, this podcast. Absolutely come here. I will not let you down. Week after week, I will have one more shitty problem that doesn't concern anyone but me, and I'll talk about it selfishly for half an hour, just like my Apple rant. And the second place you go to is Facebook, because people on Facebook, I feel like I think about it a lot because I have a lot of time to think. I realize, and that's why I joke about it all the time, I realize how privileged and lucky I am to be, born in one of the most affluent and safe and, well-off countries in the world, which is Australia, and, B, I'm fucking so white. Like, it was 25 degrees on Derby Day, and I got sunburnt as. So, yeah, I'm very, very privileged. That's the thing. That's how I look at it. If you get sunburnt in spring, you're white. You're bloody white as hell, and you got no problems in the world. Just put some aloe vera on that shit and get over it, because at least you don't get jumped by the cops just by walking down the street. So your life's sick. That's what you got to look at it like. So if you ever, oh no, my boyfriend dumped me. Oh yeah, you know what? Shut up. No one cares. So yeah, these people on Facebook, right? It's a certain type of people that I've noticed during the week. And it's oh my god, I'm so sensitive, like, and I'm so progressive, I'm so politically correct, look at me. Those people, everyone knows one. They make the big long statuses, and look, everyone is very sensitive these days. It's 2016, no one wants to offend anybody, I get that. I mean, like, I don't think, who cares, honestly? Like, if you offend someone, oh, they get offended, what are they gonna do? Nothing happens. So, like, people, you know, try and please and accept everyone and everything, and I think that's great, but it's the people who don't shut up about it that piss me off. They write these big, long Facebook posts about how progressive they are, but they have no idea what they're talking about. They're like, as a proud, vegan, transgender, yet somehow male feminist, who identifies not as a human being, but as a walking, talking opinion on two legs, I'd just like to say how disgusted I am with this article that I didn't fully read, but the headline really struck a chord. I mean, I was vaping just after coming back from my CrossFit class with my Indian transgender friend, and I read the article, and oh my god, it gave me a reason to make a big long fucking Facebook post about it. I mean, I don't see colour, I am literally a dog, okay? I look at a rainbow, and all I see is black and white. And gay rights, of course, because that's important. And if you disagree with me, if you disagree with the post and don't give it a love heart or wow emoji, you are a homophobic, misogynistic, racist, anaphylactic, arachnophobic, and lactose intolerant person. So please, like, comment, share, tag 4 progressive friends, and spread awareness about this article that I didn't even fully read. Much love, yours sincerely, every douchebag on Facebook. And everyone's like, oh, well done, every douchebag on Facebook. Now I'm going to comment and show how progressive and politically correct I am. Oh my god, babe, I totally agree. I didn't read the article either, but what you said changed my perspective on that. And also, catch up soon, babe. And then every douchebag on Facebook comments, oh my god, I'll see you at the Mardi Gras. And everyone's like, hooray, hooray. Fireworks go off, and then, you know, the transvestite from Transylvania from Rocky Horror Show comes in, and everyone's like, we accept you. And yeah, that's 2016 in a nutshell. Which is disappointing to see how society's heading, because, you know, it makes my job risky, because I could just say something off the cuff on stage one night, like, I don't know, I hate wombats, and then all these wombat activists will be like, what the fuck? You're a wombat phobe. And I'll be like, dude, it was a joke. No one hates wombats, okay? That you don't need to be an activist for an animal that everyone likes. See, this is what I get. I go on tangents and then just forget what I'm talking about. And then I'm like, oh, wombats are cool. But yeah, there's two extremes to this. Like, there's on one half, there's all the younger people. It's generally young people who are really politically correct and sensitive. And then there's like a bunch of old people who like are really bigoted and racist and just terrible humans. Like, you know, they'll be watching like a news report and it will say like police shooting in Dandenong, and they'll be like, those damn ISIS kids, those damn the Islam, the Muslim, the ISIS. And you're like, no, how is that related at all to ISIS? Okay, ISIS aren't responsible for police shootings in Dandenong, okay? If there was a police shooting in Afghanistan, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, let's look into ISIS. But, you know, if a tree falls in the forest, ISIS don't go, oh, we did it. No, the tree just fell. It was probably a lumberjack, all right? And it's those same guys, it's mainly males, who are like, I don't really like Trump's values, but he says what he wants, you know, he's honest, and I like that about him. You're like, no, he's fucked and he has shit hair. So, You know, how about you be more like the people on Facebook? I think that's the thing. I think you should reject both sides of the scale and find a healthy middle. You know, but like me. I mean, I just don't care. If more people are like me, then nothing would get done. So don't be like me at all. Be a functioning member of society, but I just don't care. I think that's my problem. I just don't care at all. Honestly, it's probably a little worrying. Like, I'm so desensitized, I just look at it like a tragedy and I'm like, oh, that sucks. And then I just go play, like, Tetris online or make a funny video about The Bachelor. Which is pretty sad, actually, if you think about it. Wow, this just got really, really sad all of a sudden. Let's talk about wombats. 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 Let's do the wombat dance. I'm sorry. This podcast is getting out of hand. I'm just going to answer some questions now. No wombat dance. I apologize. All right, so I've got a few questions. Let's get them up now. What are we doing? All right. Kim. This is from ages ago. I don't know if it was a question, but he sent me... Kim said, can you do conspiracies on the podcast? And I'm like, yeah, I think conspiracies are cool. So I started Googling conspiracies to talk about. And I was going to do that at the start of the one podcast. But then I'm like, all the conspiracies on the internet are just dumb as. So, like, I'm reading this, like, what's it called? 20 of the internet's craziest conspiracies. It's really funny. The first one is the Beatles never existed. They just weren't a band. Then the theory is that they were just models and I don't really get it. It doesn't make sense. The second one that I found amusing was President Obama can control the weather. How, man? You can't. There's no, like, you can't just control the atmosphere. Okay, that's dumb. But obviously there's all the classics. Hitler's still alive. Michael Jackson's still alive. Elvis is still alive. I mean, all you really learn from reading these theories is that people are pretty crazy on the internet. The best one, though, was actually I like this one. The moon doesn't exist. And right above it is they didn't go to the moon. And then down below it is the moon doesn't exist. So pretty hypocritical of each other. And also this one's good. The Large Hadron Collider is a device for awakening an Egyptian god. I mean, whoever was cooked enough to think of that, I just applaud. I mean, that's some good shit they were on. This one's good. Jay-Z is a time-traveling vampire. I mean, because there was a video of him in the past, a guy who looked like Jay-Z in black and white that also looked like a vampire. Obviously, like, bang on evidence to think that. So, yeah, look, to answer your question, Kim, I'm not going to do it today, but I'm going to address some of these conspiracy theories in more detail in future podcasts, because I think that will be a pretty fun thing to do. So good suggestion, but I just don't think I'll get time today. But next podcast I'll do a conspiracy theory in detail. All right, this one is from Amor John or John Amor. I don't know the email. He didn't really write his name in the email. He said, "Hi Luke, I love the podcast and all the laughs that it brings. Thank you, John. This is a question that has been puzzling me for years now and desperately need an answer to. How many holes are there in a crumpet?" Mate, how long's a piece of string? Okay, I'm not counting that shit out. But if I had to give you an answer, 124. So that's the answer of that. So next time you're looking at a crumpet, 124. Yep, that's dead on. Please call me... Oh, okay, this one, yeah. Please call me Rosario is the next question. So they want me to keep them anonymous. Hey, Luke. Love your videos and the podcast. I recently listened to all of Lewis Spears' podcast and managed to not kill myself because of miscellaneous bit at the end. Can people stop bringing Lewis's in-jokes into my podcast? Okay, it's fun when Lewis is on the episode, but don't bring his in-jokes into my things when he's not here. I don't care, okay? After that ordeal, your podcast seems so cheerful, even when you're screaming at dead CEOs or complaining about your first world problems. My question would probably be better answered by Jared, and he means Jared Clifford, the Australian Paralympian who I had on the podcast. He said, his question is, how do cops handcuff people who only have one arm? They can't just handcuff them to a pole or something because then they can't move them. This is a good question. How do you handcuff someone with one arm? I was thinking that maybe they handcuff their arm to their foot, like their ankle, and they have to like hop and walk around. God, that would be funny. I mean, it's only funny because they're a criminal. So that would just be funny watching a one-armed dude suffer hopping along with his arm attached to his leg. They could maybe, I was thinking you could pierce their ears on the spot and then put a hoop through their ears and then handcuff their hand to their ear. So if they want to, although that wouldn't immobilize them though. They would immobilize one hand. So then if they wanted to get out of the handcuffs, they have to rip their ear open. But I guess they just handcuff their... Yeah, so I did actually ask Jared this question during the week. I was like, "Oi, man, some guy thing," and Jared just goes, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'd handcuff their wrist to their ankle." So I think that's the answer. But yeah, good question, and it's a mystery. So I don't know why you wanted me to answer that, though. I feel like you could have just Googled it. But yeah, I couldn't be bothered to Google it either, so I guess we're in the same boat. All right, this next question. So I'm trying to knock these through quick because I've got to go to work. This was from Kaz. "Hey Luke, I need your help with how to avoid this guy. I'm currently on a school band tour, and I'm sending this from the closest Macca's. There's an Asian guitarist who's an exchange student from China, and he brought 3 1-liter tubs of Greek yogurt with him. It's really weirding me out because his allocated seat in our bus is in front of me, and he always says pickup lines in Mandarin as he knows that I also speak Mandarin. So this dude's weird. So he buys 3 1-liter tubs of Greek yogurt and does pickup lines in Mandarin. That's strange. The most concerning thing about this kid is that he's always eating his damn Greek yogurt. Whenever I ask him about it, he always answers to make himself beautiful. Yeah, this kid's a weird unit, or you're making this up. This morning he woke me up by serenading me and my bunkmate by covering a fucking acoustic version of Waterfalls by TLC. And after our afternoon performance, while we were packing our gear back into the bus, I passed him something back to pack inside the trailer, and he grabbed my tit instead of grabbing the item. He always stands really close to me, and his breath smells like Greek yogurt. Please help me. I'm stuck with him until Friday, and he keeps hitting on me. What do I do? So first of all, this is easily the strangest question I've ever received, and I 100% questioned this guy's question. I mean, I sent him back, "I'm calling bullshit. No one buys that much Greek yogurt." And he said, "I swear on my mum's life that this is true." And I was like, fine, I'll answer this like it's true then. But no way does someone buy that much Greek yogurt. But he wants this guy to stop hitting on him. Maybe Kaz is beautiful. Maybe you can't stop guys hitting on you. Maybe, I mean, dude, I think if I ever got serenaded by Waterfalls by TLC, I wouldn't stop the guy. I'd be like, what's tomorrow's song? I'd start putting in requests, man. And also, he likes yogurt. 3 liters is a lot, though. I mean, I don't know what to do, man. Maybe, okay, here's what I do. You go further. You freak him out. You buy 6 liters of Greek yogurt, and you go, "Hey, man, want to share some yogurt?" And he's like, "Oh, my yogurt's my thing." And go, it's our thing. And then dip the spoon into the yogurt, then aeroplane it into his mouth like he's a baby, and then he'll go, and then you go, "Like that, big boy," and then pretty much just freak him out until he stops hitting on you, until he runs away, and then he's sending another podcast in, "Oh my god, this guy bought double the amount of Greek yogurt as me. How do I get rid of him?" So yeah, you be the freak. Out creep the creep. That's what I always do. Like if you said he grabbed your tit instead of grabbing the item, grab his dick. Go straight for his balls. Yes, it's sexual assault, but honestly, seems like a strange unit, and he's probably into it. Also, only ever hit on him in Mandarin. You said that you both speak Mandarin. No one else will know then that you're being creepy to him. So you just say creepy as stuff to him in a different language. He'll be freaked out. Everyone else will think you're hilarious and then people go, "What did you just say?" And you're like, "Yeah, I told him to just back off." But really, you were like, "Lather that Greek yogurt up and down my abs and play your clarinet until I fall asleep." Wait, what did he say? I don't know. He didn't say what instrument he plays, but I'm assuming this guy plays the clarinet. So yeah, that's my answer to your question, man. Also, I've answered this question too late because it's now Monday and you're stuck with him till Friday. But I hope you out freaked the freak. Just start rubbing. Actually, that's what you can do. Lather Greek yogurt over yourself, and while you do it, really caress your nipples with the yogurt. And then look, if he licks it, then I give up, man. Run away. But that's how I'd try and out freak him. If he licks your nipple, it's over. So oh man, this podcast. I don't know if this podcast has been good or not. I think it's been weird, and but probably I don't know. I guess it's about the same standard as every other podcast. All right, last question, and then I'll probably wrap it up after this. It's already been on for 30 minutes. Okay, Kyle, what's your favorite movie? Star Wars. Always has been, probably always will be. I've loved it since I was a kid. I've got Star Wars like memorabilia in my room. I actually start counting some of the Star Wars stuff. I'm like a massive nerd. I got Star Wars stuff all around my room. Loved the new one as well. I mean, the prequels can go to hell, but the original 3 and The Force Awakens were sick, and the second half of Revenge of the Sith goes alright. And people are just tuning out the more I talk about Star Wars. So, yeah, pretty keen for Rogue One. But yeah, to answer your question, Star Wars is my favorite movie, probably always will be. That's about the end of the podcast. I'll quickly read some new iTunes reviews. I did tell people to leave funny reviews, but you're not leaving funny reviews. People left really nice reviews, which I appreciate. Someone said, I think this podcast is neat and would enjoy listening again. That's very nice. That's a good, cute review, but give me something a bit amusing to read, would you? Someone said, honestly, one of the best podcasts out there. Keep up the good work. And then in brackets, you're much better than Spearhead Sundays. That would have been funny to read last week when Lewis is on. That's Lewis Spears' podcast. So I should have read that last week. Damn it. And then someone called the caption was, put it in your side head hole. And then it says, it sounds good in your ears. That's just weird. So make sure you leave a funnier review than those ones on iTunes. Go rate it. It actually helps more than you know. So if you haven't rated it, go rate it 5 stars. Send me more questions because I'm now out of questions again. So send in some more questions. Give me some funny ones. Give me some serious ones. Up to you at luke.kidgell@gmail.com. And that's it. Or on my Facebook page. And yeah, thank you for listening.